Everybody,
Wednesday, maybe with Ron's, maybe we can move him to like a Tuesday coming or something, but Monday should be really great because they're all here.
I don't know. Ryan, we can talk to Ryan about
Okay, that's fine.
that. But
It's just every Wednesday they go to adult learning and they're there from 9 to 3.
okay.
So, but yeah,
Good morning, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Good to hear. Welcome to the Reentry Council meeting for Randolph, Tucker, Upshur, Lewis, Braxton counties. I'd like to say, of course, welcome to everyone, and we'll just give a moment to let less people join up in our meeting. I do want to thank everybody for coming today. My name is Barry Lee. I serve as chair, and my co-chair is Ms. Samantha Ryan. We do meet on the third Wednesday of every month from 10 to 11 a.m. to strengthen collaboration and improve reentry outcomes across our region. The mission is simple. We help individuals in returning to our communities to rebuild stable, meaningful lives, and of course, strengthen the systems that support that process. We believe that restoration is possible. Dignity matters and collaboration is essential. Before we begin, I just want to acknowledge that recovery and reentry remain active conversations across our broader northern central region, and recent community dialogue in the neighboring Barber County has highlighted both the need for expanded recovery services and the importance of transparency and community trust as these efforts grow. We've seen how providers and recovery leaders from Barber County recently and helpful partners for individuals and families connected to Randolph County and surrounding areas have really been pulling together. And hopefully we can get into some of that discussion today. It's that type of cross-county collaboration that's exactly what we need and strengthens our reentry pathways across the region. We're grateful to everyone that's working towards solutions today. Before we begin, I just want to take a minute to do our introductions. What I would like is for everyone just to share your name, your role, your organization, and how your work connects to reentry or recovery. The last thing is if you have any questions during the presentation, please do place them in the chat and we'll address them during the Q&A and as we go along. I'm just going to go ahead and call upon Mr. Jonathan Spence. And Jonathan, after you introduce yourself, just pass it on to the next individual, please. Thank you.
I'm with the Reach Initiative. I am a community reentry engagement specialist, but also I am a Reach Back navigator. Our services deal mostly with reentry, but we also help people get into treatment when they need it. For that, I'll pass it on to Dustin.
Hey, okay, my name is Dustin. I'm a recovering addict. I run a sober living home down here in the southern part of West Virginia, here in Cerrito. So I was just joining in. It's a faith-based program. I'm trying to learn a little bit more about the reentry, so thought I would join in and see what options and resources they are on the reentry and how it basically works. It's basically an 8-man facility, faith based, like I said, and with that, I'll pass it on.
Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. And I'm going to circle back to you so that you can talk in depth more about your sober living, okay?
All right, thank you.
Absolutely. Go ahead, come forward, Scott Trudell.
Hi, I'm Scott Trudeau. I'm the Community Engagement Specialist at Appalachian Community Health Center. I just help facilitate all your programs together and help our clients out when needed. I'm also the community engagement for Celebrate Recovery in Buchanan. And again, I just help utilize all your guys' programs. How about the people there too? So, and on that, I will pass it to Jillian.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jillian Kennard, and I work for WVU Medicine Healthy Minds here in Clarksburg, and I am the Peer Recovery Support Specialist for Tiger Valley Regional Jail. and I will pass to Kelly.
My name is Kelly Talbert. I work also with WVU Medicine Healthy Minds here in Clarksburg, West Virginia, and I am the PRSS for Central Regional Jail.
Ms. Brown, go ahead, please.
Good morning.
Thank you, Kelly. Sorry.
Good morning. My name is Danica Brown. I'm the Housing and Employment Coordinator for the Division of Corrections.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. I'm going to go ahead and call on Jen.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jen. I am the Outreach Coordinator for the crisis units at Northwood Health Systems. We are located in the Northern Panhandle in Ohio County and also in Brooke County. I just hop on the meetings because we do take referrals from all over the state for people that need mental health stabilization and also detox. We are a short-term 5 to 7 day stay. Our goal is to get the client stabilized and then send them to either a long-term treatment or outpatient services.
Thank you, Jen. Aaliyah Matthias, please, from Aetna.
Good morning, everyone. Ayla Matthias, and I'm with Aetna Better Health of West Virginia. We are one of the Medicaid managed care organizations, and I work on that social determinants of health team. And there's nothing to me that encompasses more social determinants than the reentry community. So the more I can be on these calls, the more I learn and hopefully can provide some assistance in overcoming barriers.
Thank you, Ms. Matthias. And if the person that dialed in could just introduce himself.
Good morning. This is Kim Stevens. I'm with the Social Security Administration.
Hey, Kim, thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate that. Was there anyone else?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Was there anyone else that needs to introduce themselves? I think we got everyone. Fantastic. As I'd stated a little bit earlier, I do have a guest on today, Mr. Dustin Ward. Dustin Ward is an individual that I've worked with in recovery. I've enjoyed my time working with Dustin. I understand he has a new venture now, that he has a sober living house. What we'd like to do, Dustin, is to learn a lot more about your house, talk a little bit more about the area, the type of people that you serve. Really, sir, if you just come forward and give us a presentation about your sober living, it would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, thank you so much, Barry. Good
You're
morning,
very welcome,
everyone.
sir.
Hope everyone can hear me. I'm an addict. I got 9 years clean, by the way, and my daughter's always had a vision of wanting to open up a sober living home to help others, like the sober living homes helped her father. So, I pushed her a little bit towards that, a little bit. So it came to light that we finally opened up a faith-based sober living home, and the structure when I went through the program, it was more of recovery dynamics. It was more peer driven. It was more, more accountability and all that. And I noticed working in recovery, they didn't really have that. So that's something that I wanted to do, was open up a nice sober living faith-based facility where the guys is actually going to, they just come out of detox or a 28-day program. They need a actual a good, stable, sober living home to come to. And in that process, they help, we help them get their ID, help them get all the stuff that they need. And we started running Recovery Dynamics, the 12-step program. We worked the 12 steps, and basically it is, like they do their chores, they are held accountable. So I like to get more, because I have been incarcerated several times, been to prison a couple of times, and I understand the importance of. At the time, I didn't really know what the reentry part of the system was. But it found me a place here in Huntington, West Virginia. I was at the RSAC in Parkersburg. So it sent me to Huntington. So I realized I seen all the good things that sober living homes were doing. So, and then over the years, I seen it kind of like all the good things vanish. And so I wanted, so me and my daughter was talking. She said, I think it's time to, move forward. I think it's time to, start looking for a home, try to start helping others, get them back with their families, get them back to society and all that. So here we are, and we ran a good home. I keep at least a minimum of 4 to 8 guys here. The people we serve are right now are local referrals from local 28-day programs here in the tri-state area. And we do also do some hospital referrals. So far everything is working out. Everything is doing good. I'd like to get more into the reentry part as we grow. I think because I've witnessed firsthand of people struggling, being incarcerated, getting the chances of having that reentry back to society. And so it's the lack of, I don't know if it's the lack of funding or the people there are just not enough sober living homes that are approved. I just know that there's a lot of people sitting in there waiting a chance to get out. So I thought this would be a good chance, for not only to help me, but to help her, uh, to help others, give her the wisdom and the knowledge because she is not an addict. She's been in recovery her whole life, but she is not an actual addict. Thank God that she didn't. That's one good thing that come out of my years of addiction and years of incarceration was that she did not use. She's learned firsthand that is something that you do not do, so it will break you apart. So, so my main goal here is to learn more about the reentry. And as we grow, I like to get more involved of getting more involved of the people coming out of the prison systems, the longer term behavioral health institutions, because also I have like the transitional side also that is very important. I'd like to also work on the later on building like the aftercare facility. Just put more things into play for these guys, give them more things to do, keep them busy. Because I know firsthand is you have to stay busy in recovery. So that's one thing that here at Almost Heaven I implement that these guys work. Everyone is now working at my home. They struggled at first, but now here they are. They persevered. They've done everything they were supposed to do. Now they're all working. They're paying their taxes. They're doing great. So here at Almost Heaven, it's a great place. I feel. It's going to be as we grow. We learn more. So as we grow, I want to add more to it. So with that, I hope you guys. Like I said, we're in the tri-state area. It's called Almost Heaven Recovery and Sober Living. We're looking for. I've already applied for my LeVar. I'm just waiting on some more policy and procedures to get done. So therefore, Barry, I really appreciate you inviting me. Like I said, most of my referrals come from like local areas, but I would like to network for the state of West Virginia. Like he said, people from everywhere. All walk. I want to help everyone. And if I have someone, I'd like to be able to network someone, up in the northern part of the state. Just help these people. We're running out of places to put these people, and there's places, but there's is it a program or is it a flop house or is you don't know where you're putting these people. And I know one thing I can say for certain is that when someone comes to my program, they're going to feel cared about. They're going to feel loved, and I'm going to help them. I'm going to do everything I can to get them back to where they need to be, because I was that person once before. You know, I've been on parole. I've been on probation. I understand the importance of getting out and reentry and getting back to your families, getting back to your children, being able to make up for all this lost time. And here at Almost Heaven, that's the mission, is to reunite these guys, not only to their families, but, you know, let them learn the new way of life, like working and living normal, you know, without having the drugs and the violence and all the arguing and all that. So here, I mean, I'm trying to get this all planted and seeded into them. So, I mean, I enjoyed you guys. I really don't know you guys, but I enjoyed every one of y'all. So, Barry, that's all I had, brother.
Thanks, Dustin. I have Samantha here.
Hey, Samantha, how are you doing?
I'm good, Dustin. I just want you to know I am so proud of you, and the work that you're doing means so much to us. And if you ever need anything, you have a support system down here. And again, I'm so happy to have you on the call. I'm so proud of you. So thank you so much for being here. And it's been wonderful watching this unfold down here in Elkins with you, Dustin.
Thank you so much. And I just see so much happening. And this is going to get good. It's going to get good.
Absolutely. And all the guys that I know that have been in your program say your program is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you so much.
You're
That's what
welcome.
we're here for, to help them.
Dustin, that's a great point, Miss Ryan. What's a typical day look like? Let's say I was one of your residents. What happens at Almost
Okay.
Heaven?
Okay. First of all, they start their morning meditation. Then they got their IOP from 9 to 11. Or then basically their chores and their beds. They're very structured. A good house of men, their daily routine is basically recovery hours are 9 to 5. They're usually in the common area, or they're either working. The typical days is basically networking and communicating with their brothers. You know, family setting, you know, laid back. They're all cooking for each other. They're all showing love. You know, that's a typical day here at Almost Heaven. Is just like the guys just feel free, come and go. You know, they walk outside. It's a nice place. I got a beautiful place. I wish y'all could check out the website. It's Almost Heaven Recovery.org. It has more information about my program. Um, but typical day, and they also do typical outpatient therapy and case management to help them overcome some of their boundaries that they see that they're struggling with here at the home or whatever they may be. But basically, the day to day is, you know, 9 to 5. They're programming, doing their IOP and their groups, but their biggest part
Dustin, what's
and the most,
IOP for the people that don't know?
it's intensive outpatient therapy, basically, is what it is.
So what kind of happens?
It's what happens is it's an outpatient setting. You got community clients, and you got your sober living homes, and it's basically like they where my IOP that here is split into three. You got the recovery dynamics, then you got the cognitive behavior CBT, then you also got the wellness recovery action planning. And all this does is it all works together into a treatment plan for this individual or client, and it helps them. It covers all the fundamentals of all the aspects of the dynamics of the recovery process, uh, as of high risk situations, the triggers, running into people that you shouldn't, or how you handle situations, crisis situations. It always don't always have to be drug addiction. IOP also reaches out for crisis situations. What happens if you're sick? Who's going to take care of your home? Who's going to take care of your pet? IOP puts all these components into your recovery. So IOP is a very important component. Um, for me, I think I focus more on the wellness recovery action planning because I struggled with a lot of the toxic relationships, the high risk parts that come with addiction.
Yes.
So with the IOP, that covers all the aspects of it. I mean, because you have people in IOP that is there for DUIs, they're there for CPS. Basically, they're not there for always drug addiction in the intensive of outpatient.
Okay.
Because intensive outpatient basically really covers just about basically everything you need far as your mental health status, your
Okay.
drug addiction, So IOP is very important.
Well, that's a great answer. Thank you. I really appreciate it. How long would I be in your sober living if I were a resident?
Okay, resident, I say it is 6 to 8 months, but I actually uh, prefer them stay longer because we all know in reality 6 to 8 months is not a you cannot put a completion date really on it, but we say it's a 6 to 8 month program because most people want the judges or whatever
Yes,
they
some type
want
of defined timeline.
they want a time frame but
Yes.
really in reality there really is no time frame because I want them to stay as long as they need
Okay.
to get back. So basically, this is their home here until they're ready to go. So yes, they graduate 6 to 8 months, then they can move on. But I prefer them to stay long. But
Okay. What or like let's say I wanted to come to the program, what's the application process? I know you go to the website, but is there like a deposit? Is there a bed fee? Like how's that?
okay, okay. Here at Almost Heaven, it is we are built on grace. It is a $250 security deposit, which is I put that implement because a lot of people I've seen a lot of damage in the past. So I implement the $250 deposit. It's 150 a week. Then if you're on disability or something, it's like 550 a week. But the thing is, good thing is here at Almost Heaven is that if we once we do your interview and your intake and review everything, and we feel that you're a good candidate and you're going to work, the money aspect, we will work through the money aspect. You know, I like for you to bring, something to the table, but, we do make arrangements with people, because, I do not want to turn away someone because of financial means. And that's something that I would love to see, um, the government or something step in and help these programs with the funding like for sober living because really there is no funding for sober living as far as residents program fees. So I mean it is structured because that is a big thing coming back to society and reentering coming back is the learning how to budget your money paying bills. So basically not only them paying program fees and implementing these program fees, not only does that help almost having build to help others, but it is also at the same time helping teaching them how to be responsible with their money, how to pay bills. It helps them structure, build, open up bank accounts, how to, it opens more doors by them starting to be, hey, I got my program fee this week. I got to make sure I got to save money for this. It just helps by having the programs implemented. Uh, Not only does it help us grow, but it also helps them. You know what I mean, Barry? Hello?
I apologize, Dustin. That makes sense. So you wouldn't turn me away if I didn't have that
No, I would
deposit.
not. No, I would
Okay.
not.
Do you work with local partners like churches or other facilities?
No, not at this time. It's all self-funded by me and my daughter, and
Wow, that's amazing, man.
yes, it's all dedication and the inspiration, to be able to bring these guys in regardless. I mean, I have a big heart, and I've seen so much grace, and without grace, these guys don't have a chance. So you have to love on these guys and show them that they're at the right place. I want to help these people. I want to get them back where they need to be. The same way I had that chance. They're going to get it.
Absolutely. So if I didn't have the money, let's say for my fee, and you were like, this is a great candidate, you're going to invite me in, and then it's just I pay you back once I start working or something like that?
Yes, yeah, of course. We prorate, whenever you first come, of course, and then when you pay back, yeah, like I think it's like 30% on your arrears. Then you just pay your current, say you just pay your current $150 a week. Then you just pay an additional $30 or $40 on your arrears that you accumulated while you're here. I'm not trying to beat somebody up. Plus, I also really don't want them working a lot of hours because it's hard to uh, focus on your recovery when you're working 60 and 70 hours a week, So 30, 40 hours a week is good, and that gives them enough to, have money for themselves, So
Yes.
So basically, pay. I think it's 35% on your rears, and pay your current week up. So you're not getting beat up on your first payday.
Awesome. So what inspired you to do this? I know you were talking a little bit earlier about being incarcerated and maybe going through a program. Could you walk us through kind of what your experience was in your life for recovery and then what brought you to open Almost Heaven?
Well, I started using. I was starting using marijuana at a young age. I think at the age of 14, which basically that was all I'd done. And then it led to my addiction led to drug dealing, and then which led to incarceration. And then when you get incarcerated and when you're not ready, you come out with actually more knowledge, and you hear all these guys talking all these glory stories of this and how they do that. So you get out and you do all this, and you're not ready, and your addiction just keeps growing and growing, keeps getting worse, and you keep losing your family, you're losing your jobs, you're losing, I mean, you hit rock bottom, you're couch surfing, and you're doing all this and that, but you continue, but I continue to get in trouble and do my time and come out and do the same thing. So over the years of my addiction, I lost my daughter for like 10 years of my life. I didn't speak with her. So my my drug addiction was just miserable. Like it was, I hurt so many. So after this last incarceration, I was at RSAT, and I was thinking, and I was like, it's time for a change. And so I went through RSAT and learned things like journaling, and I learned more about my addiction, and I learned that that's not the person that I am. Drug addiction, being a drug addict's not me. I deserve better. So, from that aspect on, I want to like help people. Like I see these people sitting around in jail and stuff. Like, like these drug addicts just like me. We're just sitting here like nowhere to go or what. So I would just when I finally got out of jail, I was at I come to a program called the Life House, which really saved my life. It brought me back to the spiritual part of what I needed. So after I seen, after I got a couple years clean, and I got seen what being sober got me, and how I got my family back, and little by little got my driver's license back, got my car back. So I was like, I always wanted, my daughter always wanted to have some kind of, actually, she didn't want a sober living. She wanted an adolescent program for children. That's what she wanted. But then after she hear some of my stories and met some of my brothers I met in recovery and heard their stories. So, the sober living thing come to mind. And I just like, the more I thought and pondered on it, and I realized, you know what, we really do need a sober living home here. Like that's what I want. I want a sober living home. I want to be able to give back what was given to me. And that's when we started talking about almost having recovery and sober living, and how we wanted that to be a unique program, a different program that is different from others. What we wanted to bring back uh, the actual components of the recovery program, which is the recovery dynamics, the assignments, and the big book, and just the brotherhood. So I said, you know what, Mackenzie, I think it's time. Let's start looking for a place. And it took us 8 months that we finally found this beautiful home. Found a the landlord is an awesome woman, and she helps us. She is a big support here, and she's seen the movement that I wanted to do, and the motivation, and that I wanted to do this. And she said, "You know what? You can lease the house. It was yours." She could, and the thing is, this house was empty for 8 months, and she had so many chances to rent it, and for some reason she would never rent it. So I talked to my daughter, and as soon as I talked to my daughter, she said, "I want it, like it's ours." And she agreed. She said it, and the landlady said, "It's yours, you can have it." So from that moment on, we just been climbing, Barry. It just been growing, and it just like so many. And the thing is that I'm getting to help people where I was, and actually some of like my brothers and people I went through has had little struggles. Some good friends of mine, like he gives them the place to come back to where I can help them. Their loves. So I mean, so here we are, and I'm 8 guys now. So basically, I'm considered full. I mean, I got other resources for beds, work with some other resources, but in the meantime, but sober living's doing great. It's faith based, and we're doing great.
Dustin, I did want to ask you about that. When you say faith-based, could you go in a little bit more in depth about what faith-based means to you,
Okay.
what it means to the individual? Like, talk to us
Okay,
about that a little bit.
okay, okay, more faith based. Okay, when I come to treatment back in 2019, it was a lot of that was faith based. It was basically faith based main program is the big, is the 12 steps because it is a lot of it is based out of the Bible. It is scriptures in a lot of the big book, and we do mandatory church. We go to church on Sunday. We do weekly Bible studies, and I think those components, with having those in place, it only not only uh, helps them with their addiction, but also strengthens them, and it gives them the the motivation and the the part that was missing inside of them over the years that they finally get back. And, faith-based is not for everyone, is some people's not cut out for faith-based. But I mean, faith-based to me, it actually like saved my life because that's what I found out. That's what I was missing. All those years I would have 4 or 5 days clean or a month clean, but I did it on self will. I didn't throw in the MAT. I didn't throw in the spiritual part. I missed all that. So after I got back into the life house and I seen how important the faith base was, and so I know that it I know with faith based that it's bringing families back together. Like it starts out like my clients go, then next thing you know, their families are coming with them. So yeah, faith based it brings the family together. Like I have a lot of guys starting to bring their girlfriends, and like I said, I'm just growing. We're just actually getting started. I think the faith-based part it brings it really the most precious part about the faith-based is actually unites us all back together, as one. It helps them, it gives them the strength to build what they need to build their family back and continue on their journey. That's what faith-based means to me in recovery. And a lot of programs they don't have, they don't implement the Bible studies and the mandatory church on Sundays, and because they just don't want to implement. I don't know if it's transportation or they're just there for money, but you don't see too many more faith-based programs anymore. So that's why I'm really sticking with my faith base. I'm really, into the faith based. I think the church part means a lot. It not only gives them structure, but it's like they're there by themselves. Then next thing you know, their wife is with them. Then next thing you know, their kids are at church with them. And that the faith based component is everything to me. So that's what faith based means to me, Barry. Is strengthens us. It gives us the wisdom to do better and brings the most important part. It brings us all back together.
Dustin, that must be amazing seeing those families come back together. A man comes in alone. Next thing you know, somebody visiting a church. Now the family's back together. I mean, that's got to be super fulfilling for you.
It is. It is. It is. I mean, if I can, like I said, I can't help everyone, but if I can just help one person, then I feel great. But like you said, Brady, it does feel good seeing, these families come back together. Actually, in church, in a Christian setting, at least that's where for me, because I come from, a very Christian based home, and I think I was doing good when I was doing it like my childhood. Besides the marijuana part, it was great, because I had church in my life, and once that left me, that's when my life went to crumbles. I went to pieces. That's when my addiction went. It got bad, like it escalated. But once I got the spiritual part in it, like I'm good. I got 9 years sober come November 14th.
Man, that's
And it's
awesome.
all
Congratulations, brother.
it's all got to do with by the grace of God. So that's what that's my faith-based program is building families back.
Dustin, is there anything that would disqualify someone from applying at your sober living? For example, at ours, we can't house someone who's committed arson. We also, unfortunately, can't house anyone who has committed a sex offense because we have like a church school right behind us. So, is there anything like mental health wise or charge wise that disqualifies them from being able to apply for your program?
We do run background checks. it depending on the on their charges, if they do have charges, depending on the charges. I mean, basically, I mean, we do not accept sex offenders. For one, it's a risk. Also, it could be a insurance thing. More of a risk factor of having them in the home, and so you have to be careful on who you bring in my home. So we do run background checks depending on, like, most of them are, as long as they're not like sex charges or like kidnapping or like really serious charges. But like I said, like a lot of my peers, my mentor, more or less, they've been locked up. They've had, and they had another chance of life, and they had 28 years of clean, prison time. So that does help, So depending on their background and all their charges, so we all basically what me and Madison, what me and Mackenzie and Darlene do, we all sit down, and after we see their background and their charges and their past, we take in the risk factors in that. So basically, we all three agree or disagree. Is it going to be a risk factor at the home? Is it going to be a dangerous situation, or is it going is it going to cause harm to someone? So yeah, it's just depending on the felony or their charges, basically. But definitely, we're not equipped for a sex offender right now. Maybe later on, once we get have a full staff or something like that, then that's when you can look at more doors as far as who you can accept into your home. But right now, it's just peer driven, basically, and it like basically you can't have no basically hardcore kidnapping and domestic strict, really domestic violence. I was told was they're really strict on it. So, but really, I try to accept everyone, So basically, let's hope that they don't have no sexual charges, so they can come on in. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Dustin.
So I don't know how you all do. I mean, so what? I mean, what are some of the policy procedures on y'all's background checks?
Go ahead, Samantha. He was asking policies and procedures with
I mean,
background
how do
checks.
y'all? I mean, what do you all?
So I do take people with violent charges at our facility. It's case by case situation and the willingness of the individual we're working with and kind of the story behind it. Just because honestly, my guys that I have right now that have violent charges, they are doing amazing, like
Yes.
amazing. You would never know it with those individuals, but per my insurance for the program, I'm not allowed to accept anyone at all that has committed any type of arson. My insurance won't cover that, and my insurance also will not cover anyone who has any type of sex offense. Um, and then also I look at the gentleman that I house now versus personalities on the phone to make sure they're a good fit. So I take that into consideration too. And when it comes to mental health, I'm really like, as long as the person is willing to, because we require a mental health evaluation 72 hours once you arrive at our facility. So as long as the individual is willing to keep up with outpatient services and do IOP, like mental health, something that I personally have a soft spot for. I have 3 individuals in my sober living that are diagnosed with schizophrenia, and you would never know it. I'm very blessed with the group of guys I have. So as long as the individual understands that they have to keep up with outpatient services, there, I'm a sucker, Dustin, and I'm willing to give anybody a chance. I think everybody deserves a one, chance at recovery. So you can come to my house and we'll do everything in our power to help you.
Ms. Brown, you had a question?
Yes, I like the fact that you are mentioning that your insurance just sometimes determines who you can accept for our population. One of the biggest barriers for recovery housing that I run into are like you were mentioning, people who have arson charges, people who have domestic charges, some people who have child abuse or child neglect charges, and often sexual offenses aren't able to go to recovery because we don't have entities that are located in places where they can have potentially recovery and dual diagnosis treatment in the same location. And with other entities, sometimes it comes down to insurance and the type of funding they receive, especially if they receive grants. So those are some of the barriers that keep a lot of our offenders who genuinely have recovery and mental health needs from acquiring resources in the recovery community. Of course, they have apps that help with, outpatient stuff if they're in other types of housing, but as far as being in a therapeutic community in group settings with the actual support, we don't have a lot of that in the state of West Virginia for those populations.
Absolutely true. Did you have any feedback for that, Miss Ryan? Most of it sounds like what you experienced, but
I agree. It's something that I get on a soapbox about. I had a gentleman that would have been an amazing fit for our facility. I really wanted to help him, and he unfortunately had an arson charge, and it was from being homeless. And he was living in the woods, and he had set something on fire and caught a charge from that. And I tried so hard to get my insurance to let me house him, but unfortunately, I was defeated. Um,
Yeah,
with
they
that.
don't
It
they
was
don't
really
listen to the
sad.
details.
No,
And
they did not at all care that this individual, when you're homeless and it's cold, you're going to do what you have to do to stay warm. And the gentleman on it, he just really, really wanted help, and it was a hard moment for me to deny him based on that because he would have been an amazing fit for what we do in Elkins.
yeah, and I have some people that end up having to register as sex offenders that weren't actually by definition sex offenders. Sometimes when people date and they're close in age, the parents file charges and they end up with that, as they call it, the Romeo Juliet syndrome. And it it makes a lot of people difficult for a lot of people not only to have housing but even certain employment. But some places where, like you said, they've been able to go case by case, I've been able to get those people resources. But then you have some people who might have a domestic charge that's geared around their substance abuse.
Mhm.
And just because it says something domestic, some people aren't willing to listen to the details. Sometimes nothing physically actually occurs. A lot of it sometimes can be, emotional and mental stuff that they say, to their partner, things like that. But until people actually ask questions, when some of those people I have are interviewed, they don't understand that part. So they automatically think it's because the person was automatically violent. And sometimes when people are on drugs and or psych meds, sometimes some of the things they do in those situations don't even involve physically harming um, the person that's their partner. Sometimes they could have torn up property in the home or done something like that. And unless people actually talk to them or actually read up on the offense, they don't know those details. And it kind of hinders people from getting help that they need.
fantastic. Jonathan, if you could hold on just 1 second, I have a colleague here that has a question. Antonio, go ahead and ask your question for Dustin, please.
How you doing, Dustin? What does the aftercare look like for you guys after completing the program? And he's
No,
talking.
he's actually must be on the phone.
Dustin, you're muted right now, Bo.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. I don't know how that happened, but I apologize. The aftercare is actually like I actually got a guy last week. He finally got his first apartment, got him set up. The aftercare is when we actually, myself, I actually pursue them when I think when they come to me, they say, "Hey, I'm ready for your aftercare." Their therapists think they're ready to go. They're ready to live life on life terms. So the aftercare part looks like, they getting their apartment, they're getting everything set up. They're still connected to the recovery community. Uh, they're still attending their meetings, they're doing their IOPs, they're staying connected. So I'm actually working with someone that has I like to have all four components later on in life, but right now I'm working with someone that has a apartment complex that is going to be strictly for people in recovery. So that will help them with their aftercare, give them more options of saving more money up to get a bigger place or whatever. So the aftercare here in Huntington is looking very good for the people that I've placed and that I've seen witness get has moved on to their homes that have stayed connected. It's doing good as far as the aftercare part of all of their programming.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Jonathan, if you'd like to go ahead with that question you had, I appreciate you pausing.
Samantha, what is the name of your place up there?
Lighthouse at Horizon. It was originally Lighthouse Community Recovery Home. So Stuart Strong, who had a hand in the RSAT program and is the therapist for Randolph County Drug Court, is part of my organization, but we did merge with Horizon Recovery. And right now we can house 15 individual, and we just submitted our paperwork to get WAVAR certified.
So right now you're not able to house people coming out of jail or anything, or
Not yet. I'm trying to push it through. I've even been on my hands and knees tearing up tile to get this building ready. We're in a huge, huge building. It
Good
is
luck.
all.
They're so slow. They drag their feet. Lord have mercy.
It's in an
LeVar does
old
not take.
building. Yeah,
Be
it's an
nice,
LeVar
old.
does not take.
Dustin. Be nice, Dustin. We
Oh,
don't
no,
bash
no,
organizations on this meeting. Be
Dustin's
nice.
yeah,
They do
Dustin's
take
my
their
buddy.
time.
He knows what we're doing down here. So we're in an old nursing home. So we are located right by the hospital, and like you have the front of the building, which we use for office spaces, the back, which is 4 stories, which is our sober living. We're currently only using floor 1 and floor 2. And then attached to our building is wraparound apartments. So we're trying to develop a continuum of care in this building. It's a big dream. It's going to take me a while. Our end goal is to put an inpatient rehab inside of the facility. And then we're going to have sober living, and then we'll have apartments wrapped to it. Then when you complete the sober living, you can transfer into the apartments and stay from day 1 to day 999.
okay. So right now, but you're able to accept violent offenders, but not sex offenders.
Correct. And it's an insurance. So we do have,
Oh, I get that.
yeah, we have right behind us a Christian Academy school. And then our insurance will not let me house arson. Like I've fought it. We are getting ready to open up 1 bed in the facility for an individual that would have an emotional support animal. So I'm working on doing that right now as well. So we do house violent offenders, and then I will have one spot in a room for an individual that has an emotional support animal as well.
Actually, I have one coming also, a VA, a guy that is has a VA service dog, and I got him coming next week also.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it took me a minute to get it done, but it's done. He'll be here next week. So he's an alcoholic, and he's looking forward, like he's looking forward to it. He was so happy because a lot of people turned him down, and I was reading, and I was like, ain't no way I want to turn that down, I don't care.
We have a gentleman in our program. He actually was homeless in Elkins, and I worked with him for a year, and he went to treatment and came out, and he has emotional support animal, and no one would house him with the emotional support animal. which I don't really understand because I believe that's illegal to deny
It
someone that. So I am building success into our program where the pet is taken care of and the individual.
We do want to go ahead and open up if anyone has any questions, please either put them in the chat or you can come forward, raise your hand, whatever you'd like.
I have one question. Dustin, do you guys let someone take like MAT if they're on like MAT? Do you let them stay on it?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We keep the meds is locked up. Also, we do. They control their own meds, but we do count them on a daily basis or every other day. So make sure they're not abusing their medications. So far it has worked out. Everything has been perfect so far as the MAT. And but yeah, they control their own MAT, and like I said, we do the random counts and they randomly screen weekly. Yeah, MAT. It's mainly Suboxone, Suboxone, which I will take all, but right now I'm just familiar with the Suboxone, the Suboxone, and the Brixadi. But I'm open to all MAT.
And one more question. I know you said you have a website. Do you have like a paper application that we could email to you if we aren't able to, if the person is not able to get on the website?
Yes, I do have a paper application, also intake packet. Yes.
Okay.
So, like I said, the number and everything's on the website. If you need any more information, all that's on there. Like I said, all this was the mission. My mission is to help others and get them back. So if you have anyone that needs help or needs like get out, get out of their area and you need a different environment, I'm more open to it. So yeah, just go to my website and just take it from there, or I send them a paper packet, intake packet, or ever how send it to them, let them print it out. Ever how you want to do it. I mean,
all right.
But yeah.
Thank you very much.
Hi, Dustin. I'm sorry I came in here late. Can you or someone put that website in the chat?
I sure can.
Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody, I really appreciate the time we've had today. If there are any other questions.
Dustin, don't text and drive.
Right? Dustin, thank you so much for your insights into recovery housing, treatment pathways, buddy. That was awesome. Really, really appreciate it.
Hey, Barry, I really appreciate you guys. Honestly, I learned a lot, and I think this networking is what we really need in the recovery field. All of us come together. So thanks everyone for listening to me.
Thank you again, Dustin, for coming. I appreciate you.
Thanks, everyone. Just
No
to keep in mind, recovery, it's not abstinence. It's about restoration, stability, and renewed purpose. Keep in mind, the next meeting is held next month, third Wednesday at 10 a.m. And we're going to have a person that works directly in reentry and, of course, spiritual matters. It should be pretty interesting. So hope to see you all there. Thank you so much.